Alright, firstly we're going to do some revision, okay? Now yesterday we said if you have square root a and then to the power of 2, that equals a, okay? Because you square root this number and then you square that back, and then that means you still have the original number. We call square and square root the converse calculation. It's like plus and take away. Alright, plus and take away, you plus something and you take away. That means you still have the original number. And also it's like multiplication and division. You multiply something and then you divide by this number. You still have the original number. Square and square root has the same meaning. You square root a number and then you square that back, which means you still have that number unchanged. But the limitation is a should be greater than or equal to 0. Okay? A should not be a negative because negative number has not a square root. Okay? You cannot find a number, square it. It's a negative. That's why we have this kind of writing. Okay, this is the first thing we explored yesterday. Now, the second thing is, if that square is inside. Now, we talk about that in 3 different situations. Now, some people got confused yesterday. I want to explain that again. Alright, so a square and then I square root that. We say, if we square this number and then I square root that number, we still can get the number. But this a can be any number. Okay, the reason is I square this one. That's why a can be any number. So if a is greater than 0, and then you square that, you square root this answer, is still a. Okay, equals a. Now I'll give you the example. Square root 7 squared is 7. The reason is you square that and you square root, so that is still the original number. So a, they are equal. Now if a equals 0, so the answer is 0, because square root 0 squared is 0. We don't have positive and negative. Okay. Now the last one is if a is less than 0, which means if a is a negative 7 squared. So negative 7 squared, is that equal to positive 7 squared? Are they the same? Yes, because that is an even number. So they are the same. So that equals 7. Which means you can see this is negative 7. This is 7. They are opposite. Is that correct? So we say equals negative a. I say that again. Negative a does not mean your final answer is a negative number. It means the opposite of a. Now a is a negative. So negative is a positive. Okay? Alright. Negative sign means opposite.
But when it like cancel?
Sorry?
When it always cancel?
What do you mean by cancel? Because this a is a negative number.
Okay.
So the negative number opposite is a positive. The number is positive. This one only tells you the answer should be different from this a. Okay? Or if a is less than 0. Now, for these questions, now when you actually do that, you will not think that. You will use this method. You will not think, oh, this is negative 7, and then my answer should be the opposite. You will not see that. You will not think like that. You will think negative 7 squared is 7 squared is 7. Okay? You just follow the first one to do that. And also yesterday we said if we have a number which cannot be simplified like square root 28, how can we have the simplest form? Okay? We want to say that again. According to these rules, which means I need to have a pair of same number multiplying together, and then I can write this number outside the square root. Is that correct? Okay? If you have a square inside. So 28, we cannot find a number, square it is 28. But we can find some of them. because square root 28 is 4 times 7. Is that correct? And I can write 4 outside because 4 is 2 times 2 times 7. Now, according to this law, square root 2 times 2 equals square root 2 times 2 equals 2. Good. So I can write 2 outside. And then we only have 1 square root 7 inside, so I'll leave that here. Okay, this is what I talked yesterday. I need to, if you will get confused, draw the line, enter them. Okay, it's a pair, and then you can write 1 outside. Alright, this one I can write like square root a times a equals a. 2 together, write 1 outside. Alright, okay. Now, we want you to have a look at question, this question. Actually, that is your page 2, question B. Homework. Okay, have a look at page 2, homework B, square root 50. Okay, now write square root 50 in the simplest form. Now let's have a look at how can I write that. For this one, we can have 1 times 50. Is that correct? But this is useless. Alright, this writing is useless because we still don't know which number and which number are the pair. 50, alright? And also we can have 2 and 25. Is this combination useful?
Yeah.
Why? Which number is the squared number? 25. Okay, so we can write like that. 2 times 25. Okay. 25 means 5 times 5 here. So according to this law, square root a times a equals a. Now in the future, I will not say a is greater than 0 all the time. We assume a is greater than 0 for all of our talking. Okay? Now, tell me square root 5 times 5 is? 5 times 5, square root 5 times 5 is? 5. It's not 25. 5 times 5 is 25. But square root 5 times 5 is 5. Okay? Do you have anything left inside? Alright, you finish this pair, you only have 2 inside. So the answer is 5 square root 2. Do you have any questions? Now, you may think your job is to find a pair of number. Okay? And also, in other words, that means you need to find a squared number inside the square root. And then we can write 1 outside. Can you continue with square root 2? No. Okay? Because square root 2, we cannot find any number squared equals 2. So we finished that. Okay? So this one is called the simplest form. Now always write in the simplest form. The reason is it's easy for you to do cancellation. Okay? This is only one step. In the future, when we do the calculations, you're gonna combine with others. Okay, now we want you to try question C, square root 54. Square root 54. Correct, very good. 54. Now, guys, you have to be very familiar with some of the square number. I listed some here, like 4, 9, I listed from 2 to 15. How can I make 54 apart? 54 means 6 times 9, right? Okay, yes. Why do you choose 6 times 9? Not 2 and 27. You can have 2 times 27. Why you choose 6 and 9? Because 9 is a square number. So we can write 9 means 3 times 3. According to square root 3 times 3 equals 3. So I can write 3 outside. And then don't forget square root 6. Can we continue to do square root 6? No. 6 means 2 times 3. So you cannot have the same number. Alright, so this is the simplest form. Okay, simplest form. Okay. I want you to do question O. Question O. Just now we introduced the first one. If you know those squared numbers, it's easier. But actually you don't have to remember them. We'll do this one. Short division. This 128 we divide by 2. Okay, this is the smallest in the square root. So if 128 divided by 2, what is the answer? 64. And then 64 divided by 2 is 32. Divided by 2, 16. Divided by 2, 8. Divided by 2, 4. Divided by 2, 2. Divided by 2, 1. Until you get 1. That means 128 equals 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Is that correct? And also I said a pair can be dragged out. So we have 1 pair, 2 pairs, 3 pairs, which means that one I can write 1 2 outside, the second 2 outside, the third 2 outside, and then square root 2. So the answer is 8 square root 2. So this is another way to do that. Okay? You can divide by 2 all the time, or 3, or 5, or 7, because they cannot write that into the, outside the bracket, outside the square root. So, until you get 1. And then you count a pair, and a pair. 3 pairs. So 2 times 2 times 2. 1, 2, 2, 2, and 3, 2. Square root 2. You have 1 single left. Okay? Now you can try this with, I want you to try that with question M, 175. Try this method, okay? And then you think which way is the best way for you. Now I do not force you to do this way, but I just introduce this is another appropriate way to do that. Okay? You think which way is good for you. For the last one, square root 700. But it's amazing, he knows 700 is 25 times 28. How did you know that? Okay. I may not think 25 times 28. But that's correct. It's very difficult to think 25 times 28 is 700. That's why I introduce this one. Later I can introduce this one. Right? But this one is correct. 25 times 28. And then he wrote 25 into 5 times 5, 28 into 4 times 7. And then he knows 5 times 5 can be written down outside 1 5. Square root 7 times 2 times 2, good. And then 2 can be, 1, 2 can be outside, but he doesn't know what should be here. Why it is times?
Because it's time inside the square.
Hey, because you do everything multiplication inside. So here is still times. So your answer is 10 square root 7. Okay? For all your calculation, that is multiplication. That's very good. Okay?
Can you still just do 7 times 100?
Oh. Could you do that? Write that on the board. Alright guys, I really like you use the different ways to do that. That's why I want you to do that by yourself first. Okay? Now if you have the discussion first, you may not use your ways. Maybe your way is easier than others. Okay? So that's why we said do your individual work and then share with others. Hey. Okay, I'm going to use this way, my way to do that.
What about, well, you meant the J? Huh? J. 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 Second. GBI. I did that. I fucked it up. Then it's 5 times 5. 90 times 10, yeah? So then you do 3 times 3 and 5 times 2. 10. I'm black. I can do anything I want.
Okay, now on the board, we showed everyone 3 different ways. Okay, you find your ways to do that. This is for genius way, right? If you are genius, can think 700 is 25 times 28. Follow that way. It's fine, no problem. Okay, it's no problem. Got tick. This one, how about this method? Easier, okay? Because you only have 7, which cannot be written down outside. And luckily, you have 100, which means a square root of 100 is 10. That's why you can write 10 square root 7, correct? If you have no idea, use division. Find how many 2 here? 2. You write 1 outside. How many 5 here? 2. Write 1 5 here. You only have 7 left, so square root 7 is also 10 square root 7.